It's been a long road getting from there to here. It's been a long time.
I had taken and passed my CBEST test in December of 2010 with minimal study. Upon completion of the math and science classes in the bachelor's program, it seemed logical to take the CSET 2 subtest for those two subjects. Since I felt confident in math, I concentrated studying on science only to discover the test focused on areas that I had not studied. By using testing skills, logic, and prayer, I passed this CSET in March of 2011. Several of my cohorts and I decided it would be beneficial to take a class for the Language and History CSET 1 subtest. I found the portion of the class on history left me more confused, with mounds of papers distributed. But the instructor for the language section concentrated on how to take the test more than the subject matter, which was extremely helpful. CSET 3 subtest, which covered PE, development, and VAPA, was an unknown quantity in my mind. Therefore, I decided to schedule both CSET 1 and 3 for the same day, with a goal to gain some insight into the types of questions for the latter for retaking at a later date. I actually passed both of them in July of 2011. My time was consumed with refurbishing my mom's home and preparing it for sale. She had passed away in November of 2010, and I needed to liquidate it to pay the estate expenses. I decided winter break would be a time with minimal distractions. Unfortunately, my husband was ill during that time, so I postponed it yet again. Creating an action plan for capstone was a perfect incentive to prepare for this final piece of the puzzle to obtain my multiple subject credential. The first thing I needed to do was locate the RECA test preparation guide, notes and book from a RECA prep workshop I had taken last spring, and a book given to me by a master teacher. When I researched the test dates and locations, I was pleasantly surprised. The test is given Monday through Saturday at numerous locations. The two closest are MSJC in San Jacinto and Pearson Professional Centers in San Marcos. I decided Pearson would be the best choice for 3 reasons. 1, I live in South Temecula, making San Marcos a few miles closer. 2, travel time is approximately 20 minutes less because of freeway miles. And 3, it has more dates with available seating. I allotted an hour and a half to 2 hours per day for study. I have heard both positive and negative comments about the difficulty of the test. I wanted to be well prepared to complete this test successfully and take the practice test, which takes 3 or 4 hours online, prior to taking the actual test in San Marcos. Some of the challenges I had were successfully completing 2 9-week classes in 6 weeks, my aunt being ill, consulting with hospice for her care, her passing away on July 15th, and making her final arrangements. I made a chart from some of the notes I kept during this process. The results were not as good as I had originally planned for the 3 weeks, but I was pleased that the study time of the materials I had selected was accomplished. I was unable to take the online practice test. I consider the study time most important for being successful in the final RECA. In week 1, I spent 11.25 hours locating my study materials, researching when and where RECA testing occurred, and studying the RECA test preparation guide. In week 2, I spent 8 hours studying the pages identified by my master teacher as useful in studying for the RECA, as well as the notes I had taken during a RECA workshop. In week 3, I spent 8 hours studying the book I had received during the RECA workshop from last spring, which included time to take the sample tests. I also found many videos on studying for the RECA. Most were advertisements for classes, for a fee of course, but there were a few that were helpful in expressing the concepts that were included in the RECA. This assignment illustrated that achieving a goal requires setting it, creating a plan, scheduling time to work the plan, life circumstances will frequently interfere with the plan, and adjustments or modifications are often required. Although the timing and plan to accomplish a goal may fluctuate, the goal must remain unchanged to attain success. I chose 6 years ago to pursue the education, degree, and credential required to see my dream of being a teacher come to fruition. I know I was created to be a teacher, and I will take and pass my RECA next month in spite of the obstacles I have encountered. I am grateful this was part of the requirements for my capstone and completion of my master's program. It forced me to proceed with my preparation for the RECA and reinforced the need to set and plan a goal. Keeping the goal is the focal point of any plan, while actions and timing are flexible. I believe tracking and or journaling the actions taken on a regular basis will assist in analyzing what worked, what did not work, barriers encountered, and what to adjust in any action plan. I intend to use this methodology in my next action plan, finding time for me to enjoy my life and family.